You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly pop and geek culture show covering movies, TV, games, and comics. Now your hosts, Cody Pinnick, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that's not doing any layoffs this week.
Yet.
Some of us are on thin ice.
Yeah, we gotta watch it. I'm Sam.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Samantha.
We have a great show for you this week. A bunch of news to talk about, some movie stuff, some game stuff. Who knows what else? But first, let's talk about some things we've been checking out.
Check it out! What are you waiting for? Let's go Gramble.
Let's go grambling. Here we go.
We watched a couple movies over the past couple weeks at this point.
Yeah, sure.
First was that Apollo 10.5 that showed up on Netflix recently. It's a Richard Linklater movie.
Okay.
It has that rotoscoped animation style.
Oh, yeah.
If you watch the trailer on Netflix, it sounds like it's going to be a funny comedy about a kid going into space. They set it up where, like, this kid's being met with guys from NASA that explain that they accidentally made the lunar module too small.
Okay.
So they have to get a kid to test it out and pilot it and go to the moon first in secret, which is very funny. That's a funny premise.
That's a funny premise, yeah.
That's not what the movie is about, it turns out.
Okay.
Well, it does that bit. It starts with the kids playing kickball, and then the government guys show up, and they do that whole bit from the trailer on Netflix. And then the narrator, who's a very subdued Jack Black.
Okay.
And he does a pretty good job with it.
Is it Jack Black?
It is.
Oh, okay.
But first he goes, let me set the scene for you to what it was like in the time period. And that goes on for about an hour.
Whoa.
Oh.
Okay.
It is an hour of grandpa boomer reminiscence of what the late 60s and early 70s were like.
Okay.
And like, maybe if I'd come into the movie knowing that, I wouldn't have hated it as much as I did.
Yeah, to have that just like surprise thrown at you, that's a bit...
We got about a half an hour into it, and I'm like, surely they're going to start the main plot soon. And I pause it and look like we're halfway through the movie. And it just kept going for like another half hour before we got to any bit about the kid going into space. And that part of the plot is so inconsequential to everything else that it almost doesn't even matter that it's there.
Oh,
what the heck?
Weird.
And, like, I guess it's supposed to be playing with, like, is this kid imagining it? Did he make it up? Is it real?
Oh, sure.
We'll never know. But also, it really doesn't matter because the story was so boring. Like,
weird.
He just does it. Like,
So there's no suspense, build up or anything. It just...
Yeah, there's no, will he do it? Is he going to run into some trouble on the way? No, he just does it.
He just learns how to pilot the spaceship.
Yeah, has no problems. Goes to the moon. First one on the moon comes back. Nobody knows. It's a secret. But there was no drama to it whatsoever.
Oh man!
And the rest of it is just reminiscing about the time period and sitting with his family watching the actual moon landing, and he falls asleep and like, what's a dream? What's real? Did he make up this story that is not interesting?
It sounds so lame.
It sounds really boring.
It was. It was done in a like
interesting way.
Kind of interesting way. It was done artfully, I guess is what I would say, but not in. It's also not anything you've ever heard before.
Yeah,
not heard before.
Yeah, that's that's weird.
It just sounds like Grandpa's rambling for an hour and a half.
Well, that's a shame because Linklater usually knocks it out of the park with stuff. You know? I mean, he did Scanner Darkly, I think. And that's where a lot of the rotoscoping and things like that came from. That was pretty, it was weird, but it was good.
The rotoscoping looks nice. The animation's really good and, like, clean.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes with that rotoscoping, it gets to a point where it gets kind of uncanny, and you don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
It it ticks that uncanny valley. Like, ooh, stop doing that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just
This-
thinking of all that Adult Swim rotoscoping stuff they used to do.
Oh yeah.
But this, I don't think I ever felt uncanny valley in any of this. Did you?
No.
Yeah, it looked nice. It just was. I just felt like I was tricked.
Yeah. No, I could see
That's why.
that. I
That's
could
why you're
absolutely see
mad.
that.
That's
Yeah.
why you're mad. You were tricked.
Yeah, I was tricked into listening to Grandpa rambling because I thought I was gonna get a funny movie. Like, that concept is so funny. Like, the conversation he has with the kid and the two NASA agent guys. The best part of the movie, and the back and forth is really funny.
Yeah.
Like, they do the kid's like, you built it too small. How did that happen? And they're like, are you good at math? He's like, yeah. Do you get 100% on every test? No. It's like, that's funny.
That's good. That's a good back and forth.
And that's the highlight of the whole movie.
Oh man. Oh, that is a shame.
Because the rest of it is them talking about how they used to sneak into the drive-in, and in school somebody would hit you when you were bad.
Yeah, that just seems boring.
Yeah. That sounds like a lame movie.
It doesn't even sound bad. It just sounds boring. It just sounds.
Which makes it worse.
Yeah.
It's
At least be actively bad.
It's like Christmas Story if it didn't have any jokes in it at all.
So the Christmas Story.
I know you
come
don't like that movie.
on.
It's a good movie. It's not as good as people think. It's not the perfect movie, but it's a good movie.
It's fine.
But it has
fine.
it has that set in its time period.
Yeah.
In a nostalgic.
It's like watching
kind
an episode of The Wonder Years, which I also feel as though it is like watching paint dry because the entire series is here's Marv from Home Alone doing slow, sad voiceover while we're watching Ben Savage's brother have old-timey adventures.
The other movie we watched, this one was on Shudder, so it's a spooky one.
Good.
It's called An Angry Black Girl and Her Monster,
Okay.
and it is a retelling of Frankenstein
Oh.
in kind of like an urban, like
Modern
urban environment,
Interesting. Okay.
and it was really good and cool.
So kind of like maybe like a vampire in Brooklyn on like a Frankenstein kind of level.
I've never
But
seen
good
that movie, but it
because-
sounds.
I like a.
It's one of Eddie Murphy's worst films. Eddie Murphy, he can do a great many things, but he cannot be a serious, suave vampire.
I will preface. It's been a long time since I watched that movie.
Yeah. But anyway, tell me about this movie.
Yeah, it's about a girl whose mother dies in like, what was it, like a robbery gone wrong or something? I don't remember. It
A
was
violent crime.
a violent crime. And then her brother is also killed in a violent crime with a local drug dealer. And she gets obsessed with the idea of death and that she can cure death.
Interesting.
And she works out of like an abandoned building. And does the whole Frankenstein bit.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Like, but in a way that's modernized and it also doesn't feel corny. It's just really worth a watch. I mean, I don't want to get into it too much because it is worth watching.
worth watching.
It's one of the more clever interpretations of Frankenstein that I've seen in a long time.
No, I dig that. That's pretty awesome. That sounds good.
I mean, I've been playing the reboot Saints Row. That is now Volition's last game.
Yeah.
Because they got shut down by the Embracer Group, whoever they are.
Oh, yes. Yes.
A bunch of rich jerks.
Yeah.
With their money in a lot of pockets all over the world.
And they're shutting stuff down left and right.
Yes. Yeah. And Josh, like you said earlier, you hadn't heard any good things about it. Neither had I, but it's on the PlayStation
Plus
thing.
Premium, yeah.
Yeah. So I figured I'd give it a shot, being that I like the other Saints Rows and it's their last game. Why not?
I like the other Saints Rows because they're goofy and bananas.
Yeah.
That's why I like the other Saints Rows.
This one is less, but still is. I mean, it doesn't take itself seriously hardly at all, but tries a little harder to do so than the other games. But there's still jokes and...
I mean, Saints Rows 1 and 2 were basically, like, especially Saints Row 1, was like, here's Grand Theft Auto, but here's a gang management mechanic.
Yeah.
And Saints Row 2 was kind of more of that with a little bit of jokes. And then Saints Row 3 was just, that's when stuff just goes buck wild.
You've got superpowers now, and there's weapons that look like things that I can't say on air.
Yep.
And there's like a Tron level and all kinds of stuff.
I think this game is like splitting the uprights between the two.
Okay.
Because it still wants to be funny, but it also wants to be a little bit grounded. And it tries a little too hard to make its millennial protagonists relatable.
Oh, sure.
In a way that just kind of feels...
Empty?
Insincere.
Gotcha.
Disingenuous?
Yeah. But I mean, it's still got some snappy dialogue and is still a little bit funny. There's different voices for the main character that you can choose because you make your character from the ground
that's kind of
up
how
and
Saints Row 3 was.
and the guy I picked and his whole vibe is a little too like Ryan Reynolds for my taste. It feels like I'm playing the video game that Free Guy was based on.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Nice.
Like in more ways than one. But overall, it's still a good time. It's still got solid controls and shooting mechanics. It's got a good healing mechanic where you have a takedown power that has a cooldown, and when you use that takedown, that's how you can regain your health in combat.
Oh, interesting.
Kind of like the new Doom games have more kills.
Yeah.
Space Marine was kind of like that too. Like if you executed an enemy, you got your health back.
Yeah, it's like that, but in a Grand Theft Auto style of game.
Gotcha.
Well, as long as it drives better than Grand Theft Auto, I'll take it.
Because it drives like an arcade game and not like a real car.
Grand Theft Auto doesn't even drive like a real car. And all the cars act like all the wheels are bald.
True. And moving a character around in Grand Theft Auto feels bad too.
Yeah.
But the cars, you can do like side swipe maneuvers by holding a couple buttons, and the car kind of jumps a little bit to the side, so you can side swipe other cars. And it takes things that Grand Theft Auto would take serious, and in a way that makes the game less fun, and says, no, we want you to have fun in this game. Like we want you to cause mayhem because that's what is fun. And that's what I like about it.
That's why you're playing this.
Yeah, it wants you to have fun in its playground,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it enjoyable. Like I said earlier, there's a mission where you had to get a whole container, like a shipping container. You had to drag it down the street tethered to a car. And I thought, well, if this was Grand Theft Auto, if that shipping container hit two other cars, it'd be like, mission failed, you broke the stuff you were carrying.
Yeah.
But in this game, they're like, no, please, swing it around.
Well, it sounds like the tail end of one of the Fast and the Furious movies. That is literally part of it. They're dragging a bank vault behind two cars, and they're swinging it around
I remember seeing
like
that clip.
a wrecking ball.
I remember seeing that clip.
Yeah, and then this game lets you do that. And
nice.
And that's why I think it like
works.
it. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so I guess I can go ahead and talk about the thing that I did this week. Nothing too crazy, nothing new, probably nothing I haven't already mentioned on the show before. But I got in kind of a weird mood and decided to watch a classic trauma film the other day, Cannibal the Musical, which it wasn't. It's distributed by Troma. It's not one of their like in-house films, but it is a movie by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the guys who did South Park and Book of Mormon and all of that. And it was like their basketball. Yeah. Actually, they just started in basketball. They weren't.
Oh, okay.
They would probably rather you not bring up basketball.
Yeah, because that was a Zucker. That was Abrams or Zucker. That was one of the airplane guys, which I liked that movie. I thought it was fine.
It's been a really, really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember liking it.
Yeah, I don't know if it holds up.
Anything. Yeah.
It probably doesn't.
It probably doesn't hold up.
It's probably full of things that are problematic, I'm sure.
Probably. But no, Cannibal the Musical was actually a student film that Trey and Matt did while in college in Colorado, and about local legend Alfred Packer, who was he the last person or only person in the United States that has been convicted of cannibalism.
I think.
Yeah, and the whole thing is it is a full blown musical that they wrote.
Like Oklahoma
yes,
style.
It's Oklahoma. Everybody, we're gonna go do a thing. We're gonna go to Colorado territory and wildly misjudge the trip and everything that it entails. And yeah,
like Oregon Trail.
Yeah, but it's as much that as it is Trey Parker getting back at an ex, because there's a whole subplot about Alfred Packer losing his horse Leanne, a horse that only he has ridden.
Also,
but as it turns out, she's let everyone ride. And also he had an ex-girlfriend
named Leanne.
Yeah. Cartman's mom's first name.
Yes.
Leanne.
Yeah.
Oh, I always forget that.
Yeah.
Apparently, Leanne is in the final dance sequence.
Really?
Yeah, she was the choreographer for that final dance, and he said, what was it? I'm not going to tell you which one, but she always seemed to make herself work her way to the front when doing this. But yeah, no, it's rough. It's definitely a student film. It definitely has that we're going to go out into the wilderness and shoot a bunch of things because shooting in the wilderness doesn't
free.
require
a
permit or anything. The acting is not great. There are a lot of goofs, like legitimate, like not planned goofs.
Kind of like going back and watching Clerks.
Yeah, kind of like watching Clerks. At one point, one of the other cowboys is, trying to talk to a Native American. She is an Indian. You could tell by all the teepees. Of course, all the teepees have the Rising Sun logo, and they are all a bunch of Japanese extras that they hired to play the Native Americans. And
that's the joke.
That's the joke. That is a joke. But at one point, one of the cowboys is trying to chat up this girl, and he realizes she doesn't speak English and walks away. But as he does, he jingles his hands in his pockets, and you can hear his car keys because they were just a bunch of college kids who didn't know any better, and they were just goofing off.
This was a staple of many high school movie
Oh,
nights.
yeah. Oh, yeah. This might have been one of the first things that we kind of bonded over a little bit, right? Yeah. But no, it's definitely worth searching out if you like goofy, dumb stuff.
I can't remember where I got the DVD of it.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where I read about it on the internet, and I loved South Park at the time, so I was like, well, I got to see this because Matt and Trey did it.
Yeah, and it was... and there are so many it was done pre-South Park, even before their first little, whatever, the pilot or whatever. But there were so many jokes that eventually come back in South Park. Like at one point they wake up and he yells Ike for some reason, and that's what's his name,
Kyle's little
brother Ike. The one is wearing like the I don't know, the Canadian style.
Matt Stone's character has that same hat.
And he takes it off, and there's a giant red afro, which is
Kyle.
also like Kyle, which is his character. At one point, Trey was overdubbing some extras in the background, and one is an old lady walking out of a store singing to herself, and it's Cartman's voice. It's just Cartman's voice.
Oh man, though, speaking of Cartman, though, we've been watching like South Park for like a while now.
Yeah.
And I'm in like the later, newer seasons, and Cartman's voice has changed so much, and it's like it's almost jarring.
Huh.
Really?
I haven't noticed it, but I'm not surprised. It's been so long.
I really notice it when Cartman goes to the Chinese restaurant trying to get information out of the Chinese about the attack on America because he saw the Beijing opening ceremonies for the Olympics.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
No, that's fine. But no, I would just say if you search this one out, go into it with an open mind. The songs are legitimately catchy.
Oh, they're good. They're all extremely solid.
They're solid. There are still jokes that they still hold up.
You can tell that they were going to do big things.
Yes.
You can see their talent in the movie, despite what they had to work with at the time.
Yeah. My favorite of their goofs that worked it in, it actually made the joke funnier. So at one point near the end of the movie, Alfred Packer makes it to this town after everything has happened with his compatriots and whatever.
His party.
And so the sheriff of the town, who apparently in real life was a bit of an alcoholic and couldn't remember his lines half the time, walks up to him and says, "Okay, Packer, tomorrow we're going to get a posse together and we're going to go out searching for your people. We're going to meet here at sunrise. You know what they say about sunrise?" And then there's a pregnant pause because the actor forgot the line. And he just kind of stands there for a second and then nods and then walks off. Shh. You know what they say about sunrise? Yeah.
There's a cut rap song right in that area.
There was,
too.
yeah.
Right in that scene.
There was a rap song, yeah. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's stupid. They reference Star Trek early on. At one point, Alfred Packer, they're describing what happens, and he goes, "But that's not the way it happened." And he says it in the exact same cadence that Captain Kirk says in the court-martial episode. But that's not the way it happened.
They used to reference Star Trek all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think they do it so much anymore.
But also there was a point in pop culture history when Star Trek was still pretty relevant, and then there was a long period of time where it's almost non-existent.
That's true.
Yeah. But no, it's really funny. Really funny. Worth checking out. I actually want to go back and watch more Troma stuff. I loved it as a young 20-something, but that was also at the time where, being gross out stuff was equal to comedy.
Yeah. Offensive on purpose was a funny thing you could do.
Like, I don't know how much Terror Firmer or Tromeo and Juliet or...
Oh, I'll bet James Gunn would rather you not watch those.
Probably not. Probably not.
Or at least don't tell anybody he's working for what happens in those movies.
Yeah.
The last Troma movie I think I remember watching was Sergeant Kabuki Man.
Sergeant Kabuki Man is great,
That's
though.
a good movie.
Yeah. That was them trying to go mainstream, believe it or not.
With the Kabuki cop.
With the Kabuki Cop, because they wanted to do a movie and then spin it off into an animated series like Toxic Crusaders.
Oh, so they went Japanese, like ninjas, like a Ninja Turtle.
Like a Ninja Turtle. That's what they were doing.
Okay.
And it was more slapstick and less gross out, although there was plenty of gross out stuff.
And boobs.
And boobs.
Yeah.
There was one scene of boobs. Or two scenes of boobs.
There's a couple
think.
boobs.
I feel like the last Troma movie we watched was on accident. I can't remember what it was, but I put a movie on and it opened with the Troma opening, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh, surprise.
Yeah, we're in for a film.
It wasn't like Nukem High, was it?
No.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of their newer stuff, the stuff that they kickstarted. Like the Return to Nukem High or Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. But I've been I've had the itch to go back and watch some of those and just see how they hold up. I'm guessing not well.
Probably not.
I love Uncle Lloydie, but man, I bet some of those films do not hold up.
He's been on the show.
He's been on the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to rerun that. We need to rerun that interview sometime. Next time we have some, we don't have a lot of news on a day. I'll rerun that interview because I love that. That was highlight. Honestly, highlight for me.
Career highlight.
It really was.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the interview we did, for what I had to cut, I talked to him for like almost an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was pretty awesome. But we had to cut it down to like 20 minutes because a lot of it couldn't use. But
should put the unaired or the unedited version if you still have it.
If I still have it, I think I still have it. I might do that.
That's a good Patreon bonus.
Yeah, I might do that. But that's basically all I've been doing. I've been considering going back and watching a bunch of... I've also been considering going back and watching a bunch of Power Rangers. I want to go back from the beginning and go through it because...
Now that you have a definitive
Now that there is a
endpoint.
definitive endpoint, yes. I guess that's a news thing, but we don't have to talk about it. It's just... Cosmic Fury, the newest season, came out with their 10 episodes. Just happened this past Friday, which
On
is
Netflix.
Did they just unceremoniously dump them all onto Netflix?
They've been promoting it. They've been allowed to promote it because they are non-union.
Oh, yeah. Power Rangers is always non-union.
Never union.
Never a union gig.
Thanks,
but,
Time Saban. That's his doing.
He started the tradition.
Yeah.
But because that's been released, this is Cosmic Fury is the definitive end of the 30-year run of Power Rangers. Hasbro said that if they decide to bring it back, it is not set within the same universe continuity,
and they will bring it back.
I don't know if they will.
It's too much of it. It's evergreen like Ninja Turtles, though. It'll come back.
The toys don't sell.
Huh.
The toys don't sell like they used to. It is now...
It's mostly Lightning collectibles for
It's
adults.
moved from popular kids' toy to niche collectible. For the discerning 30-something.
Hence why, all the replica weapons and stuff are so expensive.
Replica weapons and figures
Helmets.
that if you pose them in the wrong way, they will fall apart.
Yep.
Those Lightning Collection figs are not good.
Huh.
Yeah, I have the original the Mighty Morphin team up there, and right now I have their human heads on them. I am afraid to swap them back to their morphed helmets because the pegs on their necks will probably break.
Wow.
But there's a way you can fix that with a tiny little drill and a little metal rod.
That's too much work.
You shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't have to.
I know,
for what they're charging for them, you shouldn't have to.
But that's what a lot of Gundam modelers do when those pegs break.
Well, sure. But no, I think I'm going to go back and do more Power Rangers. Yes, go for it.
We watched Shin Ultraman.
Shin Ultraman, yes. How was it?
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a lot like Shin Godzilla, except Ultraman.
That's basically it.
Yeah. It had the same
Same
focus on people
Government.
the government reacting to Ultraman.
Yeah.
And giant monsters.
Yeah. They
Okay.
could have used more giant monsters fighting, honestly.
Sure.
Wasn't my favorite Hideki Anno remake movie, Shin movie. But it was still fun and good.
Cool.
I mean, it's probably honestly my least favorite out of the bunch. But then
Really?
again, I haven't watched a lot of Ultraman, whereas I've watched a good amount of Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
And I know what Godzilla is. Like anybody can enjoy a Godzilla.
Yeah, I was going to say, which one is your favorite of the three?
Shin Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Then
yeah.
Kamen Rider, then
Yeah.
Ultraman.
Yeah.
It did get me to go back and watch the first episode of actual original Ultraman, and I loved that.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff.
I
also, that is what I have the least background in is Ultraman, but yeah, it's what I've seen is really good.
I didn't realize how much Thunderbirds it is.
It really is. Well, the precursor season to Ultraman, Ultra 7, it was Thunderbirds. It was just a team of 7 humans and their cool machines.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be Thunderbirds and also kaiju fights.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, and I'll probably watch more of it because of
Yeah,
it.
And
it's good stuff.
The Netflix anime piggybacks off that a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I skimmed around Hideki Anno's first student film, which is an Ultraman fan movie.
Didn't they do that for Daikon or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is just Hideki Anno in an Ultraman suit, no helmet, rolling around and fighting stuff, and it's very funny looking.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
It's really good. I have seen that, and that one is pretty enjoyable.
It's so wild that he didn't do the helmet. It's just him.
It's just him with
It's
his
just
glasses.
his
yes.
scruffy head.
Uh-huh. Well, hey, I tell you what, let's take a break here. When we come back, we'll get into some of Josh's check-em-outs and then some news.
Hey, Paigey. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
I don't know, Paige. But I do know this. Long Play is the #1 show at both 11 p.m. Fridays and 3 p.m. Saturdays. Right here on, you guessed it, 104.7 WZMO. I invite you to tune in and check out the show that's a legend in its own mind.
We are back from the break. Before we get into news, we're going to throw it over to Josh, since he's had a couple weeks off. Going to see what he's been doing.
All right.
Welcome back, Josh.
Hello. So I'm a little older, and I'm a little wiser, and I watched some stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
We went and saw Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
Oh yeah.
Yay. I've seen that too. I liked it.
I liked it a lot. I did.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's like a lot of things that I couldn't tell if they were references or they're actually setting something up. Like the one lady's last name, the lady, the head, the obviously villainous person.
Oh, what was their last name?
Ultram.
Oh, Utram. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Utrams were the Krang.
Krang.
Oh,
Krang aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, she's clear. She's got a Krang in there.
She's a robot with a Krang.
She's hiding a Krang in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing. Is like everything looks so weird.
Yeah.
Toe to-
I like
toe to
that.
tip. She's a Krang.
Everyone like has like weird proportions and stuff.
I like it. Gives it a fresh feel.
Oh, it does. It does. Though I've seen some people like crab on it and talk like April looks like a little frog. I'm like, she just looks like a person.
Yeah.
Also, they're all supposed to be teens.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She's not gonna run around in a skin
And
tight
like
yellow
and like
Fujiko.
young teens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she wears a jacket and a beanie all the time. It's
Yeah, I thought it was a cute design.
yeah. I feel like it's people just getting mad because it's not the original 80s April.
Oh, sure.
So white.
Well,
But if you go back to the original comics, she's very ambiguous.
Eastman has said that if they were to do those original comics in color,
She would have been black?
She would have been black.
Okay.
Because in those first couple of comics, she has like a giant afro of curly hair.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But because the comic's in black and white,
Yeah. Anyway.
yeah.
Another interesting thing about the style is like there's like weird like sketch lines around everything.
I kind of love that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a very visually interesting movie.
It's not as gorgeous as a Spider-Man, but it's close.
Oh yeah,
You can definitely see the connective tissue between Mitchell's versus the Machines and this because it's the same folks.
yeah. I still haven't watched Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Oh, you'd got to. It's
Yeah,
good
I've
stuff.
heard it's good. I've heard it's good.
Yeah. Solid film.
Anyway.
It might have been my favorite movie of whatever year it was that it came out.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the fact that there was no end credit scene. There is a mid credit, but there is no
Yeah.
end credit.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
And it was a good one, too.
Yeah, I mean they set up Shredder.
Yeah, they set up Shredder. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Well, they've got to, you know.
Who's not in the movie, and I like that Shredder wasn't in the movie because that's a story that's been told.
Also, the like, I don't know, just the like, I don't know, kind of turning the origin story on its head a little bit.
Yeah, that felt fresh.
Also, awfully strong of them to kill Baxter Stockman in the beginning of the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Superfly is not Baxter Stockman.
He's not.
No.
Interesting.
No.
Interesting.
He's Baxter Stockman's little boy. His
Yeah.
little fly boy.
His little is his first experiment.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay. That's a cool take. I actually like
And
that a lot.
I sat there and I thought about it and I was like, man, he seems so much older than everybody, even though all the mutants are pretty much the same age. But then I'm like, well, insects age faster.
Sure.
That was a thought I had. But then I'm like, well, then the turtles should be younger because terrapins take forever to age.
Do you remember in the reboot Michael Bay Platinum Dunes Turtles 2, Medea was Baxter Stockman?
Was she?
Yeah.
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry, oh.
Tyler Perry.
Oh, right. Yeah,
not
you're right.
literally Medea.
I was like sitting there. I was like,
We're gonna do some science up in her.
I don't understand it is with modern Ninja Turtle media, and it's been happening for a while now, where one of the turtles has a crush on April. I'm getting tired of
It
it.
is kind of weird when they
I'm
do
getting
that.
tired of it.
I think this is one of the better interpretations of it because it's goofy teenage feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like what? Okay, so like 2012 the first Nickelodeon Turtle series, the CGI one. Mm-hmm. It's Donatello.
Yeah.
Has a thing for April. In the Michael Bay movies, it was Michelangelo. In this one,
It was
it's
kind of all of them. In the Michael Bay one.
Yeah.
It was kind of all of them.
Yeah.
Also, I got that vibe from the original live action that it was kind of all
In
of
the
them.
original, yeah, it was kind of all of them.
And then this one, it's Leonardo. I feel like the only one that hasn't had a crush on her is Raph.
He's not capable of love.
No, he's just angry.
Oh, yeah, he's too busy being angry. No time for love.
Also, I like the designs of all the turtles in this one. Like everyone, not only are they have like distinct skin colors from each other, they all have very distinct visual styles.
Oh, sure.
Like Raph is the big buff one, you know, and Donatello's got the...
He's got glasses because he's a nerd.
Yeah, he's got glasses because he's a nerd.
I love that this Donatello is canonically a weeb.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
He name drops Attack on Titan
He's
twice.
wearing a JoJo sweater at the end, or
Nice.
sweatshirt at
Oh,
the end.
was he?
Yeah, it's
I
got
didn't-
like kind of vaguely the logo on it.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, I'm for that. That's awesome.
Well, the reason why he comes up with the plan on how to kill the big monster at the end is he remembers how they do it
And
on Attack on Titan.
Titan. Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Splinter's flashback version of himself. Oh, also the fact that they almost never call him Splinter.
He's
The only
bad.
the only time the only time they ever call him Splinter is when Leonardo's doing his Batman serious voice. Like, Master Splinter has given us a task.
Jackie Chan is so funny as Splinter in this movie.
Oh,
too.
there's a great reference to like his like action movie style.
Oh, yeah, the
where
way-
he's fighting a bunch of guards in the TCRI building, and he's just using stuff around him, like office chairs.
He's doing the goofy.
Yeah.
He's doing the
Yeah,
Jackie Chan.
Splinter fights like Jackie Chan.
So they watched a bunch of Jackie Chan films and kind of copied some of his fight
Also,
styles.
just
That's
how
awesome.
goofy he looks in the flashbacks with
Yeah.
like his wife beater and big stupid mustache. He just looks like, just dad.
It's a great movie, and I'm super stoked that they actually are doing a sequel to it because it deserves it.
And there's a
good.
series. There's a series.
yeah, and they're going to do a series too.
which is a sequel to the movie.
That's cool.
But all in all, I really liked it. They do reference the ninja rap.
yeah.
Good.
It's like 2 seconds, but I was like, oh,
That's enough. That's all you need.
What did you think of the music in the car chase scene? That's,
with the He-Man,
Yeah.
He-Man hey song.
yeah, they use
Excellent.
the He-Man version of that song.
Yeah, not even like
Not
the
the
original.
not the four non-blondes version.
No, it's
Oh,
literally the
that's
He-Man
good.
one.
Like you hear the Skeletor
He goes,
voice.
yeah. Yeah.
It's so inspired of a choice.
Oh, that's good. That's good stuff.
Also, Paul Rudd is
Mondo Gecko.
Mondo
Yeah.
Gecko is actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
All the mutants were pretty decent.
Cool.
I hated the cockroach one though. That one was just gross. And also, it gets grosser later.
Oh yeah, yeah, it does.
Ugh.
I like that they used what they do in the shadows. The Nadia from that show is the bat in this, and
Oh, Wingnut.
yeah,
Oh, cool. God,
She's
Wingnut.
always funny.
I forgot Wingnut was in this. That's a deep cut because that
Oh.
was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tournament fighter exclusive character.
Yeah, there was Wingnut. There was the Australian gator with the robot eyes. Can't remember its name.
Oh, is that Leatherhead?
Leatherhead.
Leatherhead. Yeah. And then there's Bebop and Rocksteady, which
Sure.
they don't do a lot
That's fine.
other than just be Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, that's fine.
They come bouncing in with some music, and they're just big buff guys, and they're like, "Beebs, rock!" Well, like they're best bros. I'm trying to think who else was in the movie. Wingnut, Mondo Gecko. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think we pretty much got it.
Yeah.
Watch
But it was-
watch the movie.
Yeah, it's a
Good.
good movie. It's a
I
good
know.
movie.
I need to.
It's on Paramount
I
Plus.
need to see it. It's there
it's
now.
on- it's on
Okay.
Paramount Plus.
Dare I say it might be the best Ninja Turtles movie that they've ever done? Which is
I don't know. I really like Turtles Forever
I've never seen that
with
one.
the 2000.
That was like a straight to video.
Yeah,
one,
with the
wasn't it?
2000
Yeah, but that one
Turtles.
is pretty good.
The 2000 Turtles and the 80s cartoon Turtles.
And
It's
I know,
really good.
and I know the original movies are not the other ones. The other one isn't good.
Those aren't good.
But the first one is really good and has a lot of nostalgia.
Secret of the
value.
Ooze is okay. It did get hit pretty hard with the whole parents thing of the 90s and whatnot.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like one of the
Best
the highest
modern-
quality.
Oh yeah, but also it's the ending was kind of weird. Like seeing them take on the Turtles. I don't want to say anything because I don't. Want
Okay. Yeah, that's
yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something they've not done with
Before.
the Turtles before.
Yeah. Let's see here. Other stuff I've done. I've been playing the Medieval remaster. Medieval being the 90s adventure game with Sir Daniel Fontescue's Skeletal Knight with no jaw.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
It's not bad. It plays pretty much exactly like the original. Bad camera and all.
Oh no,
Oh,
they didn't fix
bummer.
the camera.
No.
Oh no.
No, it's bad.
It's no longer a bug. It's a feature.
Yeah.
But also, one thing I don't remember if the original game ever had subtitles for Sir Daniel when he spoke.
I don't think it did.
Well, now he has subtitles.
That's weird.
Yeah, I liked it better when it was like his grunts and stuff were more ambiguous.
He just made weird noises.
Yeah, but no, it's fine. It's decent. It's kind of Halloween-y themed, so I was deciding to play it.
Is it on PlayStation Plus?
Well, I don't know if it's on the. I know the resurrected PSP port is on the Classics catalog. I don't know if the remaster is or not. I don't remember how I got it. I don't remember if it was a monthly thing or what. Been playing that. That's fun. I'm not terribly far into it. I've beaten one boss and I'm like a couple levels past that. But no, it's decent. It's fun. It's a nice little throwback kind of thing. It feels very nostalgic for 90s, PlayStation games go. We've been watching the final season of Matt Groening's Disenchantment.
Oh, that did just come out.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
Yeah, we're a couple episodes into it. And there's a funny joke in the first episode where they're talking about stuff and like Nicole like looks over and she goes, I don't remember anything that's been going on in this show. Like, because it's been so long since the last couple of seasons.
That's what's kind of stopped me from watching it.
Yeah. Well, there's a joke in the first episode where some guy kind of opens a window and Bean's mom is, taking over the kingdom or whatever. And she like, any questions? And she's like got the whole kingdom in front of her. And this guy like pops out of a window and goes, I've got one. There's been so much time between all these developments. None of us really know what's going on or remember. You going to do something about that? And then he just gets shot with a flaming arrow in the head.
So they lampshade that it's been so long and people have kind of forgotten.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. That's fine.
Even I've been kind of like, I don't even 100% remember. Like I get
that really feels like a Futurama joke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hope it's not as hit and miss as this new season of Futurama has been.
I still haven't watched it, so I can't tell you on that one.
I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's also not. It's got some stinkers in there.
It's got some rough ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been really doing.
Okay. Well, cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into our award-winning news segment. I mentioned the award-winning because I was cleaning my office the other day and I found the Nerd Overload official award, so that we can officially say that we're an award-winning. Just who cares where it came from?
It's like how I can say I'm an award-winning indie game developer.
Hey, you did.
Because
you
one
did.
time I did win an award.
You did win an award. See, there you go. So yeah, let's get into some of this news stuff. Do we want to talk about the couple of movie trailers real quick? Knock them out of the way. So first up, there was a trailer for the jumping back to the trauma stuff, the remake, the big budget remake of the Toxic Avenger,
starring Peter Dinklage.
It's so wild to see a big budget remake of a trauma movie.
Yeah, and so the teaser trailer just came out today. Like, it is fresh, less than 24 hours old.
Right.
And it is a wild vibe.
Yeah.
It looks like a Tim and Eric sketch.
Yeah,
in the best possible way.
Like the grainy news article bits
with the bad like editing and stuff, and then it cuts to the
actual movie.
And that scene is in the original Toxic Avenger.
Oh, where he like
goes to a fast food place because people have taken over the fast food place or whatever. Yeah, I'm excited,
and
guys. It looks great.
It was as violent as you would want a trauma movie to be.
Well, yeah. Well, there's only one scene of like hyper violence, and everything else is kind of just from the outside.
But I'm assuming the movie's
the rest
going to
of it's going to have
at that
to be
level. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Well, how could you? I mean, I love Toxic Crusaders, and that is a child's version of the Toxic Avenger, but you can't do a Toxic Avenger reboot
without being gross and
without
violent.
Being hyper violent. You can't. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't match the tone of the original.
Oh yeah, people would complain.
Yeah,
I really like the logo that they came up with. That little like Toxie skull logo is really good.
Yeah,
that in that news article with the potato.
Oh yeah,
The potato is the artist rendering of what Toxie looks like.
what he looks like. Yeah, yeah. But no, it looks great. I'm really excited for it. I can't wait till we see more. It's I think it's Legendary Pictures is co-producing it.
That's accurate.
Even if that's not true, it sounds right.
It sounds right because
They do one of two things: Godzilla MonsterVerse movies and really gross horror movies.
yeah.
That is all they do.
And the whole time they are extra willing to mine nostalgia also.
bait because Legendary did the Power Rangers reboot.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, everybody's allowed to have one stinker. It's all good. But you know what? Going back, that one actually wasn't too bad.
I thought it was fine.
It was fine. It's easy and fun to dunk on the new Power Rangers movie, but it was fine. They did a few things right.
Elizabeth Banks makes it.
Oh, she was the
she was the clear highlight.
by far the best part of it.
Choose every scene she walks through.
Yep. Next movie trailer, there's one for a spy action comedy called Argyle.
You know what? I'm kind of excited for this.
It looks kind of great, right? It's
it's a lot like The Kingsman.
yeah. Well, it's Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah, it's Kingsman, but American.
It feels like a version of The Kingsman that your mom could watch, but like not in a way that's not demeaning. Like I didn't mean that to sound like it.
Yeah,
demeaning. But
it seems like the whole thing is that there's it's like a meta narrative between a book about Agent Argyle and the writer of the book, who has somehow managed to predict real world spy events within her book,
and it's made her a target to actual
spies, and it has a pretty crazy cast to it too.
Oh yeah,
it's that Sam Rockwell. There was Sam Jackson. Both the Sams were there. That's pretty great.
I'm sorry you didn't get the memo.
I know, I missed it. I was out that day.
You missed the casting call.
I did. But Henry Cavill is there.
They had to get Lena Dunham instead. No, she's not in this movie.
It's the worst joke. They had to get Jeff Dunham.
Yeah, they had to get Jeff Dunham.
Awful puppets.
Peanuts in the movie.
Oh no! But
they have to stop Ahmed the Tit Terrorist.
But no, it's interesting because
that might be the worst of his puppets. But
that
anyway.
might be it. Yeah, but I mean the writer of the Argyle books is Bryce Dallas Howard. She's the main actress, and she's a great actress.
Oh yeah, and a great director of Mandalorian episodes. Yeah. All my favorite episodes of The Mandalorian somehow always end up being the ones that she directed.
She's pretty talented. Yeah. But Argyle looks great. I'm very much looking forward to that.
That poor cat.
That poor. That's the. You know what? The cat is actually the only thing that I'm kind of not on board with.
Yeah, that CGI cat looked dumb.
The CG was either the CG was not finished.
And it also makes me worried there's going to be too many jokes about them being mean to a cat.
Well, that too. Yeah, that is.
Because whenever there's a cat in a movie, it's always like it's going to die in a way that's supposed to be funny. I don't think this cat's going to die, though. No, I don't think he's going to die, but like
he's always in precarious situations.
Yeah.
Also, that thing where it's like it like jumps up in the air when it hits the trampoline or whatever.
That was bad CG.
Yeah. And it's like, are we trying to bring back the bad shoehorned in 3D moments?
It looked like a shot from a Stuart Little movie.
It kind of did. Yeah.
Yeah, it really did.
It's like maybe he was chasing Stuart Little.
Yeah. All right. So what are some of the other things that there was a Scott Pilgrim animated thing?
The Scott Pilgrim, the anime.
I hope it's more different than from the movie than this makes it seem like.
Sure.
Yeah, it is looking pretty almost shot for shot.
But then again, therein lies the problem with the movie being
as close to the comic.
A very faithful retelling of the comic.
To a point.
Because they didn't have the last.
Yeah, because it wasn't done yet.
It wasn't done yet, so the ending's different.
And they change a lot. There's a lot of jokes that are in the movie that aren't in the comic.
Yeah.
But I would like to see like a do-over on Scott Pilgrim, like the same story, but like not modernized, but just like, well, here's some places where we could add more to make it make more sense.
Sure, I can see that. Or like
flesh out Ramona more.
Yeah.
You know, I want it to be different.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm sure it'll follow the comic when it gets to the end too.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But also the fact that they got the movie cast to come back and do the voices, which is nice.
That is pretty cool.
I mean, Michael Cera needs a new renaissance.
He's doing fine.
Alan and
Yeah.
Barbie was his renaissance.
I know, right?
His renaissance.
Michael Cera's doing just fine.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
He's at the point where he doesn't have to do anything that he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
The rest of the time he sits and waits for super bad residuals to come in from when it's on HBO.
I will say I was speaking of Michael Cera, I was scrolling through Twitter the other day and, not really half paying attention. And I thought there was an article. I'd stopped and went back because I thought I saw an article about Beck, the musician Beck. And as it turns out, no, it was Michael Cera in a floppy hat.
The last time I remember, caring about Beck was the Futurama episode when Bender becomes a folk singer.
Oh, sure. The majority of what I know about Beck is between that and the episode of Space Ghost Coast to Coast, where he brought his recliner into the interview and he fell asleep with a lampshade on his head.
I think Devil's Haircut is a jam.
Yeah, Devil's Haircut is a jam. That's a good song. Let's see. There was a teaser for Rick and Morty season 7 or 9? 7? 7.
7, 6 too many.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's season 7. Season 7.
But this is the first one
With the new voices.
The new voices, and guess what?
They got sound-alikes, and they sound fine.
They sound fine. It's almost like Justin Roiland wasn't anything special, and everyone can do those voices.
Yep.
Surprise!
Like I said, the last season was not terrible, so I'm kind of hoping that the trend kind of continues on an upswing because I do like the show. I'm invested in the universe. I'm everything.
When it hits pretty hard.
Yeah.
But when it misses,
those hits are getting further between.
Exactly.
Yeah, that first season was lightning in a bottle, and then
It really kind of was.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have no vested interest in this. I don't really watch Rick and Morty beyond that first season, but I am interested to see how the season feels because I don't like Justin Roiland. I don't like him, but
I think his shtick, aside from the terrible things that he did, his shtick had really gotten old.
It had gotten pretty old, but he was pretty good at improving stuff. And I'm curious to see if these new voice actors
can do that.
Can match or emulate the style of improv that he was able to. Like, I don't know if they're going to be able to do the TV of the future or whatever.
The interdimensional cable,
Yeah,
will they
that's
even
it.
attempt? Well, I think that had run out of juice too anyway.
I think, yeah. Well, when the show became more serialized, I guess.
Yeah.
But
when all the universe building started really going on.
But it'll be curious to see if the voice actors are, no, we just read what is in the script and that is it, or if they are going to be given the same freedom to improvise as Roiland.
Now that Dan Harmon is in charge, I get the feeling that it will be, you will read what I wrote.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. He is very hardcore when it comes to
get
that
into
stuff.
some community rules up in here.
Yeah.
Now cancel it. Now bring it back.
Now bring it back on Yahoo.
Oh man, Yahoo.
Right.
Oh, that was There was another show on Yahoo that I watched. Other Space. It was like a weird Star Trek comedy style show.
Oh, it had Joel and Trace.
It had Joel and Trace. It had Karen Sony, who's done a bunch of stuff.
Is that the one with the little green alien blob thing?
No.
What am I thinking?
No, this was a live action show.
Oh, okay.
It had Milana Vantrub, who's the AT&T girl now.
Oh, okay.
It had
and maybe Squirrel Girl someday.
And maybe Girl Squirrel someday. Yeah. And as
no, not you said Girl Squirrel. That is a different character.
That is a different character. That is very true.
That is a legitimate different character.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Didn't she turn out to be Rescuer, the
the Asgardian
squirrel that lives on the World Tree?
Yeah.
Messing with reality and stuff. Yeah. But that show was great. It only had like 10 episodes, and you can't get it anywhere now, which is a shame.
Like so many other things that just disappear into the aether to never just be seen again.
It's all that
ether.
In these days where everything is backed up and digital, things shouldn't just disappear.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There should not be lost media these days.
You can't get a tax write-off unless you do.
That's a good point. All right, we have time for like maybe one or two more things. So, we pick a couple things.
Did we
here.
talk about One Piece getting a season 2?
No, we didn't.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it is.
I haven't watched it, but I've heard that it's actually not terrible.
It is pretty good. I like it a lot.
I've heard similarly good things about it.
And it's gotten me to watch the anime.
Oh, nice.
So, mission accomplished, I suppose.
Hey, there you go.
Now you're invested in a series that's never going to end until the creator dies.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the best part is I'll probably die before
Before One Piece ends.
Before it ends.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we want to talk about Epic layoffs, WWE layoffs?
I guess we should mention the layoffs since
We
I made a
should
joke
You
about
made a
that,
joke
but-
about it, yeah.
which may be in poor taste now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of layoffs. Epic laid off a bunch of people. The people
800 and something people.
the people who make Fortnite and Unreal Engine that Fortnite runs on, and a bunch of other games. Even though they've had nothing but humongous profits, they still managed to lay off 800 people because they've been trying to grow too fast, I guess is what they said.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they paid a lot for the buku amount of guest characters you can get in Fortnite.
Yeah, and all the Epic Game Store
Exclusives.
exclusivity thing that nobody would do if they didn't give them a bunch of money to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is because I mentioned it, I guess, the WWE fired a bunch of their mid-card...
Like 20-something wrestlers?
20-some-odd wrestlers, and this is right after the merger between WWE, Titan
UFC.
Sports, and the UFC. So we kind of had a feeling this was coming.
Dana White. That was the name I couldn't remember.
Dana White. Yeah, that's the one. Also, Vince McMahon is technically not in charge anymore, which I think is a good thing.
I didn't think he was in charge for a while.
No, he stepped down and came back. He stepped down, but it was fake.
Oh, when they had all those nasty allegations, he fake stepped down and snuck back.
And
wow,
snuck back
what
in.
a dirtbag!
He stepped down, grew a tiny mustache, and colored his hair jet black, and came back. That's not a joke.
I'm Prince Sir McGuy.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Prince McGuy.
Prince McGuy. Yes.
Lord McPherson.
Well, two of the guys that got fired were Mace and Mansoor. Mace was Brennan Williams. He was a former football player that I've actually been following his career since he got into the NXT because he used to do YouTube reviews of video games before he got into wrestling. And his gimmick for a while, well, his screen name is the Great Black Otaku, and he was the Shogun, the Great Black Otaku, the Shogun of the Row for the longest time.
Nice.
Apparently, his most recent gimmick with this other guy, Mansoor, they were the two members of the Maximum Modeling Agency, and they were literally Zoolander-esque male models that would get out there and wrestle and do JoJo poses, like legit JoJo poses. That was the entire gimmick.
That's so great.
It's so great. And from the way it sounds, those two are going to land on their feet. It sounds like they've gotten actually a couple of...
The one's kind of like a VTuber now, isn't he?
Yeah. Brennan Williams, Mace, he's a VTuber. He does... he's actually been doing a lot of Twitch streams talking about the ins and outs of working with WWE, coming up through their talent acquisition and everything. It's been really interesting to listen to, just from a historical standpoint.
Oh yeah.
And seeing
the how the sausage is made, kind of thing.
Yeah, there was apparently they had pitched a couple of times storylines where one of the two male models would get a tiny cut on their face and turn into a Bane-esque character because they are now hideous.
Like
that was going to be the ongoing gimmick.
The Doctor Doom,
like the Doctor Doom has a tiny little, just a little nick on his cheek or whatever, and now they're hideous.
I'm disfigured.
I'm going to wear a mask and become the real villain. Yeah, that was
Phantom of the Opera stuff.
kind of a weird Phantom of the Opera like riff, but that was kind of the gimmick they were going to do, which would have been really cool to watch. But
they didn't fire Asuka, did they?
No,
okay,
but
good.
I honestly think she's getting disillusioned with the company. Some of the stuff I've seen, she is not.
Is she the one that did the tribute to China recently?
No, No,
Okay.
Asuka is.
Asuka spits green acid on people's face.
Yeah, Asuka's great.
Yeah, she's my favorite wrestler, even
That
though
sounds
I'm
like
not
it,
a WrestleMan.
it sounds like that time when Gwar had a female front person.
Oh yeah, but that wasn't. She didn't spit the vomit.
Yeah, I know. It was like
She didn't spit the vomit. That's
Yeah.
all we have to say.
Did you see Gwar did a Tiny Desk concert for NPR?
Really?
They did.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
It's good.
Yeah. All right, well, hey, we've actually hit time, so let's go ahead and wrap things up for the week. You have been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, X in parentheses, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon at Nerd Overload Now.
You can email us at staff@nerdoverload.com.
You can give us a call on the Nerd Overload hotline. The number's 419-561-5556. Leave us a message and we'll play it on the show.
That's right. You can also find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and more. Finally, I'd like to thank Parker for the help over at the Facebook page, and also David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
Pizza out.